Hey everyone, my name is Nick and this is my case study final presentation. So my case study was going over why a national railway renovation project is going to be beneficial for the consumer, how it's going to benefit both casual private travel. It's also going to boost the economy through business use. We're going to be going over funding opportunities, routes specifically that I think would be a good idea to be upgraded, and how this is actually a safer and better alternative compared to air travel. So first of all, how we're going to get the general public interested in this opportunity is, first of all, it's safer. Let's face it, recently airplanes have been not reliable in any way, shape, or form when it comes to safety and security purposes. There's doors coming out of Boeing planes on a regular basis, mechanical failures and whatnot. United Airlines alone has lost $200 million in 2024. We are barely halfway through the year. That is just one company that uses the specific plane that Boeing makes that has taken a loss. In addition to this, though, people always say that sex sells. Nostalgia and novelty are starting to sell a lot more as well. Railway travel has that level of nostalgia and novelty, so we're going to also double down on that. Trains are also a greener alternative compared to air travel. Yes, diesel trains still are going to pollute, unfortunately, but given the effectiveness they have and how much freight they're able to haul compared to a plane, the pollution to movement ratio becomes much more favorable to the environment. And finally, this is going to be a project that has multiple uses. We're not just looking at passenger travel, we're looking at freight travel. We're going to be looking at how this can connect a majority of more rural communities across the country. So we've got two target audiences. The first one is going to be our passenger customers. These are going to be people that are trying to save a little bit of money. Let's face it, air travel isn't always the most affordable thing when you're going across the country. So lower middle class family is trying to look at going to visit their family over the summer. This is that alternative for them. In addition, we're going to be looking at retired people as well. They have a lot more time on their hands. This might be a better way for them to see the country and enjoy themselves. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting at home. Why don't they enjoy viewing the entire country through a panoramic train car instead of an airplane? Finally, unfortunately, there is a no-fly list. People are not allowed to fly. This might be considered another option for them if they're still trying to get around. As far as freight customers, we're going to be looking at smaller farming operations. Some of the train stops we will be building are going to be in more rural and urban communities. It's going to be easier for people to get their freight to an urban train center instead of a bustling city where an airport or larger distribution center is set up. Small businesses as well are going to be benefiting from this. Another thing is going to be companies that are not able to move their freight on airplanes due to its mass quantity. This can be things like car dealerships, large construction equipment, logging, all of these opportunities that do not have the ability to just solely be transported by rail or flight. So when we're looking at funding, the federal government has already invested $8.2 billion into renovating the railway structure across the United States. This is a campaign initiative that the Biden administration put together as well, with the hope of being able to renovate high-use routes. We'll be looking at those in just a second. The other way we're going to be looking at funding this is going to be a state tax. States that do benefit from this, there will be a form of tax increase that can be discussed at a later date, though. Finally, the at-cost business model is what we're going to be really looking at. The price to move product on our train or ride the train is not going to be for profit. Every cent that we're making is going to be put back into this railway, and that's going to come in the form of maintaining it, paying the staff that we're going to need to hire, all of those fun little logistics bits. These are some of the routes I wanted to look at overhauling first. Denver to Kansas City is going to be a route that connects two massive countries in the middle of the geographical United States. Both of them have a level of significance as well when it comes to logistics. The majority of the track also goes along a major highway, so we won't have as much of a problem when it comes to travel and housing people along the construction route. Chicago to Kansas City is owned by Burlington Northern Santa Fe. It's a very direct geographical route, straightforward. Again, two massive cities. Detroit and Chicago is privately owned by Amtrak, another direct route that we want to overhaul. And then finally, Seattle to Denver. Getting freight from a seaport to the middle of the country is going to be very beneficial for the everyday consumer. It's going to lower the price of goods compared to flying them or using long-haul truckers. Upkeep. The biggest thing we're going to be looking at when it comes to upkeep is making sure the tracks are regularly maintained. All of our equipment, locomotives, train cars, whether it's passenger or freight, are regularly inspected and held to the highest standards, whether it's the National Transportation Security Board or NTSB. It could be another administration similar to the FAA could form as well. We're going to be looking at train operators having the ability to report problems in real time. That means if they go over a patch of track that didn't feel right, or there was a bump that they weren't so sure of, they can report that in real time, and the system will give a geographical location of where that track is and how it can be fixed as soon as possible. And having things being able to be fixed as soon as possible is why we need to have multiple teams based in each state that we're going to expand in. That way things can be done quickly and effectively. Instead of needing to have a team flown out, they can drive within 2 hours to be able to fix that problem. This is some of our more miscellaneous opportunities. Job growth is going to be one of the biggest sectors we're going to be looking at. Not only are we going to see an economic boost for the communities around that will be using this railway structure, we're also going to be looking at jobs the federal government will have to create now. We're going to be looking at hiring dispatchers for the trains. We're going to be looking at operators, mechanics. We're also going to need to use the TSA as well. The TSA is the largest security government institution that could run this operation. It's already regulated in airports and operated in airports. We could set up something very similar in order for trains to have that same level of security. International growth. Some of our biggest markets could be in Canada and Latin America. Being able to expand furthermore and not need to go through international ports or flight travel could save the taxpayer millions of dollars on goods. It can also boost the economy for the everyday American working paycheck to paycheck. And again, going back to what I said earlier about this not being a for-profit business, every dime that is earned from this company that is considered profit is going to be reinvested into this operation. It's not going to be cutting corners and penny saving in order to please a shareholder. The entire model of this operation is hopefully to build a long-lasting train infrastructure that can be used by passengers and companies alike. So in conclusion, there is a market for the railway structure to reemerge in the United States, and there's already been funding allocated for that from the Biden administration. It is going to be safer and more convenient for the everyday consumer. There's not a lot of bad train PR right now compared to air travel, where there's massive amounts of bad PR and safety concerns. That's a win for the American consumer. When it comes to the economy, we're going to be seeing boosts in both those local communities that have a train stop set up. We're also going to see the economy be boosted when it's cheaper to move product. That saving is going to be passed along to the consumer, so that way they're paying less for goods and they're still getting those goods brought to them in a timely manner. Finally, the upkeep and maintenance routines are going to be done very, very routinely, and they're going to be done to the highest standards that can be put together, and hopefully this will innovate and set a new bar for safety transportation regulations across this country. These are my citations. Thank you very much for watching.